Snowboarding is the better half of snow sports, and here's why. We all know that one person that will convince you to ski just because it's easier to learn. Do you really want to take the easy way out? Once you learn to snowboard, it will feel much more of a success because you actually had to work for it. There's a ton of pros and cons to skiing and snowboarding, but in my opinion, snowboarding has a lot less. One of the biggest things in snowboarding is you have to take care of your equipment. So when you start snowboarding, you have to get your snowboard, obviously, and then you have to get bindings. See, with skis, you have to have 2 skis, you have to have bindings, poles, everything has to come with that. And then you have to take care of your equipment. The first thing that you have to do is wax. Like, waxing your equipment is something huge that you have to do throughout the year. Every 2 weeks is how much you're supposed to wax your board. See, when you wax your snowboard, it's like $10 a wax just because you have one piece of equipment to wax. On skis, you have to wax 2 pieces of equipment, so it's like $20 for each like board. Another thing, on the skis, there are the bindings, and on the bindings sometimes they'll get jacked up, they'll like move and they'll slide all the way down. And on snowboard, all you have to do is just those ratchets, so they can even fit little people sizes or even big people sizes. So you only have to buy one thing, and they're very adjustable and parts can come off and you can replace those. When you break your skis, you have to buy the whole new binding to put on there. The second thing is when turning. So one thing for turning is you only have to use one leg instead of 2. So turning on a snowboard, you'll be going down the hill and you'll be looking down the hill, and your back foot is the only foot that you have to use to turn. Your front foot just sits there and kind of guides you. Now on skis, you'll have to use both of your feet, make sure your feet are lined up, and still having to be able to navigate both feet to work together in the same motion, which is actually pretty hard to master, which also you have to worry about getting your skis crossed and all of those kinds of things, which just really makes it difficult. In the park, we can all agree that snowboarders look much cooler in the park than skiers do. Snowboarders get off the lift and you see they're all like binding up and you're like, man, that looks really cool. Because it is really cool. And so after they get all binded up, they go down the hill, obviously. And when you go in the park, yeah, skiers, they can hit rails and all that, but they have both feet to be able to navigate where they're going. When you're on a snowboard, you're hooked to like one thing. So on a snowboard, skiers can throw backflips, but snowboarders can too. But the thing with skiing is, like, let's say you throw a backflip, one foot lands, the other foot's going to be coming with, just because you can still fall. But on a snowboard, you'll have to land your snowboard perfectly, like directly down or directly to the side to be able to master the skill. So as you master it, it looks much better. And even on rails and things like that. So when you hit rails on skis, you can keep your skis like this, but one ski falls off and you can just move the other ski off. You still have that other leg for leverage. But on a snowboard, you don't really have that other leg for leverage at all. You can hit the rail, and then if you fall off, then you have to fall. Like, you have to be able to master those skills, which makes it even cooler. And on skis, when you fall, your feet just pop right out of the skis, so you can just get back up and put them on. But with a snowboard, your feet don't really pop out. So let's say you're trying to do a trick, you don't have to worry about your feet coming out of your equipment. And the next thing is getting on the lift. So getting on the lift for skiers, there's normally like a little pole right here, and you have to put yourself on the lift. And if you don't have poles, then you have to really push yourself with your feet, and your feet tend to get caught on the pole, your feet tend to get stuck in, like, when the lift comes, the lift just takes you out. With snowboard, you have your one foot out already, you can just keep pushing, and then that's really awesome because you can just get right on the lift and get on. So also getting off the lift, you can have your foot and you can pretty much just ride it right down, just like you were on, like, just like you're riding all day. And then when you put your feet on, skiers, they just go. But snowboarders, we all like to get around and have a talk as we're all binding up just to mingle with our friends. So in my opinion, snowboarding is much better than skiing, and I think everyone should try snowboarding because it is very fun, and then there's so many ways, and you even look so much cooler doing it than you do while you're skiing. Thank you for listening, and have a good night!